The voices you're about to hear are generated from text to speech. It's not voice conversion or voice cloning. I type it and it came out like this.
Yesterday I was when I was when I was playing with Nelson at the swings. You know, the swings where he was in my swing. I said I was gonna use it, and he was in it, and I pushed, and he made me. I accidentally pushed. He accidentally fell down all by himself, and he's in the hospital now. But I didn't do it.
Welcome back to the channel where we discuss the creative uses of AI, and there are a lot of text-to-speech solutions out there, and they're all getting pretty good. But in terms of sounding like a real person, having a real conversation in a real place, I have yet to find one that sounds as good as this. I'm talking about a platform called Fish Audio, and if you haven't heard of it, well, you're about to. It offers functionality that you are no doubt familiar with from other sites. When you first come to the page, it invites you to clone your voice for use with this platform. It also does text-to-speech with a huge variety, which I'm very excited to share with you. We even have speech-to-text, so if you don't want to type anything, you can just click this and say, I don't feel like typing anything, so I'm just going to talk into a microphone. And then you've got your translation right there. You can copy that and then use that in the text-to-speech area to start the magic. Now, we have two different ways to do text-to-speech. We have instant speech and we have advanced audio story, both of which we're going to show you. Let's start with the instant speech. You've got your text area here. You've got the voice model that you're going to play with, and we are focusing today on the S1 beta. And then you've got your advanced settings, high quality mode, speed, volume, things like that. So if we want to convert a voice, we can type or paste what we just copied in. I don't feel like typing anything, so I'm just going to talk into a microphone. Choose the voice model we want. We're going to choose S1 beta today, and then select a voice model. Up pops this menu. You will see the models that you have recently used. You have the Explore tab, which we'll definitely be looking at because this is how you're going to find the voices you want. You have a tab to access the voices that you have created, and we're going to do that too because I really want to show you how well it clones the characteristics of the voice that you put in there, including dialect and pacing and the whole thing to make it sound so realistic. Just to give you an example, let's use this text we did. With most of these voices, you can preview them by clicking a play button here.
Listen, here's the thing about healing.
Oh my gosh, you guys need to see this amazing splash pad.
Let me tell y'all about summer cookouts down here.
I want you to notice something about these recordings, and that last one in particular really shows it. The recording is off mic a little. It sounds like he's in a room, not up on a microphone, which adds to the realism of it. Listen again.
Have potato salad that's been sitting in the shade of a magnolia tree.
All right, so he's kind of off in the background. I'm going to click on my voice library here and go to generation history and play a few examples for you. The nice thing about this play history is that I can easily load back up the prompt and the voice and do another run if I want to, or make some modifications to something I liked before. Let's take a southern voice like that as an example. Here's one I did earlier. I'm going to click on open and it's going to load up all the parameters that I used in here. You can see that I used the 1.6 control beta for that particular generation. And because these voices sound so natural, I try to really use natural sounding language. I'm going to give you some good examples of that in just a little bit. So let's listen to what this sounded like with this generation.
Hey look, Slick, I know you're probably just stopping in for a quick drink, but I think it's best you just keep your conversation to yourself. Nobody here is interested in anything you have to say.
So that just in no way sounds like text-to-speech, but let's take that same exact sentence and go to another leading brand of text-to-speech. We'll use another southern type of voice.
Well begun is half done.
So that's a good voice, and we'll generate the same sentence using that one.
Hey, look, Slick, I know you're probably just stopping in for a quick drink, but I think it's best you just keep your conversation to yourself.
So you can see the difference. It's still a nice quality voice, but it's kind of a narrative read, or it's stilted in some way. It's just affected. It doesn't sound nearly as natural as this.
Hey look, Slick, I know you're probably just stopping in for a quick drink, but I think it's best you just keep your conversation to yourself.
One of the things I like to do is put these voices to some animation, because seeing these voices in context helps to establish whether or not it really comes off as real or not. If the video is of a guy sitting in a chair over there, but the voice is right here in the microphone, there's a disconnect, and it takes away from the realism. For these videos examples where I'm putting the text to a human so you can see it sort of in action, I'm using the Hedra platform because so far it does the most realistic interpretation. I just want to be clear that this platform doesn't generate the videos. I'm using the videos to show you context so that you can see actually what these voices sound like in a use case. I've got a couple of video examples using that audio clip that we just listened to.
Hey look, Slick, I know you're probably just stopping in for a quick drink, but
I think it's best you just keep your conversation to yourself. Nobody here's interested in anything you have to say.
So you can see that the guy sitting at the bar is like 5-6 feet away from you. So if his voice was right there in your ear, it doesn't sound right. But this way it sounds more like he's in a room. And to me, this is a huge distinction and definitely makes it harder to detect an AI voiceover when it's recorded like that. Here's another example, same exact recording.
Hey, look, Slick. I know you're probably just stopping in for a quick drink, but I think it's best you just keep your conversation to yourself. Nobody here's interested in anything you have to say.
Most of the other text-to-speech models that are out there take out the background noise, like an air conditioner or a fan or any sense of distance from the microphone, which I think actually hurts the realism of it. So what's extraordinary about many of these models here is that they include a tremendous amount of background noise, sometimes even reverb. Check this one out, for example. I'm not adding any effects to this. This is just their demo.
Listen carefully. Do you hear me? I'm moving closer.
So that reverb is built into the sample. So I wrote this script. I'm going to show you a couple of different examples of it in action with two totally different types of delivery to show you the versatility here. But this is where I'm talking about typing in a very natural language. If this is supposed to be a YouTube girl, for example, just sort of turning on the microphone and talking, she's not going to be talking with this script and it's all clear and all of that necessarily, especially in the context of what we're doing here. She's sharing something that she's excited about. So you type in the language that she would actually use. Here's the example. Oh, forgive me in advance for the more adult language. Oh, I know I keep saying the same thing over and freaking over, laugh in parentheses, but I'm really serious. This shit I'm about to tell you, it's whacked. I mean, I don't even know, right? Like that's what they say. Okay, so you know how there's people who believe we landed on the moon? A break. Okay, so it turns out I actually know one of these people, laugh, laugh, and then a break, and you'll never freaking guess who it is, and then a long break. It's my own mom, laugh, I'm, cough, like a pause. I'm not even joking, you guys. She was born in like 1965 or something, and then another break. In a way that people actually talk. Most of them believe it, break. I'm not shitting you, laugh, seriously. The thing about the version 1.6 and the S1 models is that you can often put in things like laugh and break, although it may sometimes take several generations to get exactly what you want. But what we get with input like that is this.
Okay. I know I keep saying the same thing over and freaking over.
So now let's put that to video.
Okay. I know I keep saying the same thing over and freaking over. But I'm really serious. This shit I'm about to tell you, it's whacked. I mean, I don't even know how. So, you know how there's people who believe we landed on the moon? Okay, so it turns out I actually know one of these people. And you'll never freaking guess who it is. It's my own mom. I am not even joking, you guys. She was born in like 1965 or something, and like most of them believe it. I'm not shitting you. Seriously.
So I've never heard any text-to-speech that comes close to something like that. Here's another version of that same exact script with another one of their voices.
Okay, I know I keep saying this same thing over and freaking over, but I'm really serious. This shit I'm about to tell you, it's whacked. I mean, I don't even know. Okay, so you know how there's people who believe we landed on the moon? Okay, so it turns out I actually know one of these people. and you'll never freaking guess who it is. That's my own mom. I'm not even joking, you guys. She was born in like 1965 or something, and like most of them believe it. I'm not shitting you. Seriously.
So all that personality, it's built into the model. Now it seems like a good time to show you how you can clone your own voice to add to this huge library of models, which we will take a closer look at in just a moment. As I said, what stands out about this voice cloning technology is that it really does capture the nuances of how you deliver your voice. Not just the voice quality itself, but the dialect and any other quirks your delivery might have. Let's look at the voices I've done so far. We've got a Bob Casual voice, we got Pigman, Bob Troll, and Gruff Bob, and I recorded them all with distinct delivery. Let's listen real quickly to the Casual Bob sample.
So I'm testing out this new audio setup, and like the microphone's picking up some interesting, well, not interesting exactly, but different frequencies than before. You can.
So even though, and to my ears, it doesn't have the exact vocal quality of my voice, it definitely nailed the delivery with which I did it, because I was just talking casually. I had no script and I took pauses and things like that. With Pigman, I put on more of a distinct character voice. Sounds like this.
You know, I was at the farmer's market yesterday and I saw someone with 9 or 10 pigs for sale. So I actually recorded samples talking like this, which is unusual. You'd think Pigman would be sort of a southern accent dude, but I made a poor choice, I suppose, for what he looks like. But as I resume play, I only brought my usual 6 or 7 because of grandmother's rules, of course.
You'll see it really nailed it. And Bob Troll.
Look at the human heart, this magnificent pump of life. But what do? We stuff it with garbage and this is the read I gave to create that sample. I wasn't reading a script, I was just saying things off the top of my head with the pacing that I thought this character might say. Toxins like it's some kind of cosmic trash can.
Again, did a pretty good job for 30 seconds of a sample. Here's Gruff Bob.
Dogs can detect human emotions through smell, which is fascinating from a biological standpoint.
And that's how I read it when I talked the first time. So let's start from scratch with a voice, and I'll show you exactly how it works. From the top bar here, we'll click on voice cloning, and it's laid out in a simple step-by-step process, starting with the type of voice. Is this for everybody? Is it just for the people who know that it exists? Or is it just for you? Let's do one just for me. I'll upload an image to represent the character. I guess I'll call him Eggman. Now we can either upload pre-recorded audio files, or we can record our sample right here, which is what we're going to do. I click on record. It gives you a sample sentence you can use, but I ignore the rules and guidelines and just say whatever the heck I want. You need to give them at least 10 seconds. It says that 30 seconds is recommended, so around 30 seconds is what I'll do. This time I will use a highly southern dialect. And to start recording your sample, we're just going to click here.
Well, hello everybody, I'm the Eggman. I'm down from the southest of South. You know where South is? Well, you go a little bit more south. That's where I'm from. Now look, you probably got lots of questions. Like, what is an Eggman? Do I deliver eggs? Am I made of eggs? Do I hate eggs? What's the deal with me calling myself an Eggman? Well, it's a funny story that, I don't know if I should tell you because I don't know if you can handle it. Do you think you can handle a story that has lots of twists and turns and surprises around every bend? Is a bend different than a turn? Well, maybe if you listen, you'll find out.
Okay, lots going on in there. Let's just make sure it recorded.
Well, hello everybody.
It did. Now let's click on create. And here we go. Let's listen to the sample it gave us.
Well, you're probably wondering about my breakfast this morning, aren't you? Or maybe you're not, but now you are, right? See, there was this thing with the toast. And, well, you know how toast is, or maybe you don't, but that's another story for another time.
So it did the ups and downs and the inflections and everything. Now you know how that works and how well it works. Let's go and really play with this model a little bit. So we're going to go back to instant speech. We're going to click on create, go back to this familiar interface here, and let's just type a sentence that sounds like it is being said in natural language. Hey, sorry, I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't to interrupt you anymore, but the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about it? We're focusing on the S1 beta model, but I will tell you that the version 1.6 model is also really good. And as we go through these exercises, we may, if we're not getting the result we want with one model, we have 2 others to choose from, but these are the 2 we're going to be playing with today. Let's select a voice model. Just for fun, let's select the Eggman thing that we just did, see what he sounds like with this voice, but that's more of a character voice, but let's just see. Click on use voice. You have this toggleable high quality mode. Let's turn it off first and see what we get there.
Hey, sorry, I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore, but the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about it?
It doesn't sound as natural and flowy as those other ones that we played because I recorded it in this way, so it read it back exactly as we did it. So now let's really choose a more natural sounding voice, and we'll play with this explore feature because, again, there are so many models. I'm not in love with the organizational structure here, but they are easy enough to search. So if I wanted like a kid voice, I would just type kid and some would come up that I can audition, like
one's reality might be another's illusion.
So that's more of a voiceover type voice.
Hey guys, I just made my first YouTube video yesterday. It only got like 5 views, but that's okay because everyone starts somewhere, right?
So that sounds good, but it still sounds like it was more read from a...
Hey, watch this! I've been training.
Mom, look, I found this really cool bug.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna do this really cool slime challenge with my friend Sarah. Like, we're gonna mix different colors.
Okay, so we got a kid with a nasal issue. Let's use this voice with this script, and then we're going to use an adult. Now you'll notice that this happens in just seconds. It's very, very fast.
Hey, sorry. I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't gonna interrupt you anymore, but the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about...
That's interesting. One thing I have discovered is that sometimes it will cut off the very last part of the word, but just doing another generation very often fixes that. Let's turn on the high quality mode and just see if we can tell a difference between this and what we just got.
Hey, sorry. I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore, but the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about it?
It really comes down to a very subjective decision. Do you like this one better?
Hey, sorry.
Or do you like this one better?
Hey, sorry.
But again, you can recreate and recreate and recreate and get different reads.
Sorry, I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore, but the thing is, I'm getting this stupid...
See, so adding that but and having repeated words just adds, I think, a ton to the realism of it. Now let's find a voice that's probably more appropriate. Why don't we just scroll through this list here that they've got here of random voices. You'll recognize some of these voices as public figures and so on, maybe cartoon characters. But I like the ones that I don't recognize because they tend to sound the most natural.
Consider how often we rush through life.
That's more of a strict read.
In today's rapidly evolving business landscape, hi everyone, I'm excited to share some insights about building strong professional relationships.
Okay, so that is another example if she's slightly off mic and it sounds much more like a real person talking, and you can hear a little dialect in there. She doesn't sound like a real voiceover professional, which I think is fantastic. Let's use her voice for this line right here and click create.
Hey, sorry, I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore. But the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about...
Let's take a pass at this with the high quality mode.
Hey, sorry, I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore, but the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about it?
But did you hear the vocal fry in there when she said,
Then I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore, but the thing is...
I mean, how do you even prompt for that? That's amazing. So let's listen to another one. Let's get a guy in here. Let's just do a search for natural. Okay, so mark natural conversation. Let's listen.
All right, guys, check this out. I just discovered this...
Doesn't sound natural. He's reading. You can't fool me, Mark.
Just saw a patient with high blood pressure, and we tried a natural supplement called Cardio Max.
Now that sounds real, so let's listen to that.
Hey, sorry. I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore, but the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about it?
All right, let's turn off the high quality mode and see what we get.
Hey, sorry, I know you're trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore, but the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about it?
Really natural sounding. Just for grins, let's go back to the 1.6 model. Same exact line.
Hey, sorry. I know you were trying to get that finished, and I said I wasn't going to interrupt you anymore. But the thing is, I'm getting this stupid damn error every time I try to upload your file. Is there something weird about it?
So that one has, I don't know, a little less energy, but it may be exactly what you're looking for. Luckily, you got access to all these models. You can try whatever you want. As I've demonstrated with my own samples and some that you've heard, it's really, really great with unique dialects. For example, a Midwestern dialect. And for this, I went to chat and I told it to write a sentence phonetically so that the words, even if read by a non-Midwesterner, would lean towards having that Midwestern dialect. For example, it says, oh, for sure, yeah, so you're going to want to head down this road here about, 2 or 3 miles. Okay, so even though I don't put on a Midwestern accent, it kind of translates. So mix with that a model that is trained on a Midwest voice, and we get this.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So you're going to want to head down this road here about...
Now let's check that out in video form.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So you're going to want to head down this road here about, 2 or 3 miles, okay? You'll pass a quick trip. Don't go there. Nah. Hang a left at the big old red barn with the tire swing out front. Can't miss it. Nope. Go down another mile or so, just a scooch past where Johnson's cow got out that one time. Yeah, right there.
Here's another example.
So you just go on down this little road here, just a smidge past the old pecan grove. You'll know it by that sweet smell. You'll see a rickety-looking sign that says something about boiled peanuts.
One more quick example with the instant speech section, and then we're going to go over to the story section. Now, we opened up this video with the little boy talking about how he didn't push someone off the swing. I wanted to counter that with a little girl version and see how that turned out. Before I play the example, let's look at the script because I wrote it again as if a kid was saying it, repeating certain words and stammering a little. When I was playing with Nelson at the swings, you know, the swings, well, he was in my swing. I mean, I said I was going to use it and he was in it and I pushed and he made me, he accidentally fell down all by himself. He's in the hospital. So the whole little kid waffling their way through a lie, which gives us something that sounds super realistic like this.
Yesterday I was playing with Nelson at the swings. You know the swings? Well, he was in my swing. I mean, I said I was going to use it, and he was in it, and I pushed, and he accidentally fell down all by himself, and he's in the hospital now. I didn't do it.
Incredible! Let's go back to the home page, click on text-to-speech again, and this time we're going to click on Advanced Audio Story. This allows you to create something of a little radio play with narrators and different characters and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So let's click on Create and see how this works. We're going to give this project a name. Yes, I've already done one called Bigfoot to make sure this all worked right, but I'm going to call this one Bigfoot 2. I'm going to make sure that our backend is built on the S1 beta model. That'll make sure that any voice models we use will default to this, and then if we need to try other models for whatever reason, we can, and then we're going to start with a default voice. Now, I'm going to tell a story with this, so I'm going to use a narrator as a default voice. I can use any of my characters here, or I can click on Explore, do a search for narrator, and we can preview a few of these.
Recent discoveries in the Amazon rainforest.
That's not what I want.
Hello, friends. Have you ever watched how leaves dance in the wind?
All right, that's nice. We'll bookmark that in my mind.
Hello, I'm the professional.
Not friendly enough.
Welcome to another chapter in our historical exploration.
That's okay.
Little Big Planet is a charming game.
I love that voice. Let's click that and we will click on Create. Now we have a whole empty palette where we would type our script and assign voices and all of that stuff. So let's get a script first. To do that, I went over to ChatGPT and told it to write a short scene between two characters, and a narrator should set the stage for the conversation, interject things like he said and she said when a character talks, as if he's reading a bedtime story to a child. I'll give you a topic, and then you write the story, which should be a couple of short paragraphs, but with the dialogue to move the scene along. However, every time a voice changes, including the narrator, the text should be on a new line. And then I give a format example there. And then the first topic, Billy is trying to convince his mom to buy a pet Bigfoot. And it generated this little script here, which I will just go ahead and copy. And I'll just paste it right in here, and you'll see it divides it all out line by line. It gives an extra space line here. We can just pop up there and hit backspace, and then we'll be fine. Now it is loaded in the Little Big Planet narrator as the narrator for this whole thing. So if we were to select this first line and click on play until end, it's going to render this whole thing out.
It was just after dinner, and the sky outside the kitchen window was the color of grape jelly. Billy, with peanut butter still on his cheek, had an idea.
But instead of listening to the whole thing read by the narrator, let's add some characters to this, because after all, this is Billy saying, I think we should get a Bigfoot, and then the narrator will say, Billy said, hopefully, and then Mom comes in with, what now? We're going to reserve the right to edit this script a little bit to make it work better, but let's go ahead and assign some of these voices here. We need a kid voice and a mom voice, so let's click on the line that we first used, the kid voice. We can click this icon here and just do what we did before. We can click on Explore and click on Kid. I liked the one we chose before, this one here, so I'm going to click on Select, and let's just play that selection.
I think we should get a Bigfoot.
Okay, so now we've got the right voice. That's not necessarily the final version because we can keep generating takes until we get exactly what we want, but I'm going to go through every line that has Billy and assign that character, and all I have to do is select the line, a Bigfoot, and click over here where it says Kid. And then we're going to scroll down to the next time he talks and click on kid. And that's that. Now we need a mother's voice. Let's just do a search for woman.
Hi, I'm Christina, a dedicated book editor.
A little harsher than I want.
Listen, here's the thing about healing. You've got
Okay, we listened to her before. Let's use her. She sounds like she could be a mom like that. Let's play this line.
a what now?
Let's take out the now because that's a little bit weird. When we click anywhere on this script, you'll see this little submenu pop up where we can put in things like pause, long pause, breath, laughter, cough, lip smacking, and a sigh. But we'll try it a few times in this and see what we get. Let's go through and assign the mom voice to all the mom lines. And if there are 2 lines in a row with the narrator, let's combine them into 1 line. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to paste it onto this line here and then do a backspace to delete that. Let's select the first line up here and click on play until end and see what we get.
It was just after dinner, and the sky outside the kitchen window was the color of grape jelly. Billy, with peanut butter still on his cheek, had an idea, a big idea.
I think we should get a Bigfoot.
Billy said, hopefully.
A what now?
His mother replied, not even looking up from her dish towel.
I'm going to stop it there because I already know you're going, yeah, but it's cutting off the thing and it doesn't sound natural. So let's just go back up and start fixing this stuff. Now, we did get cut off when we said a big idea up here. I'm going to just try and regenerate that line and see if it does a better job of not cutting it off.
And the sky outside the kitchen window was the color of grape jelly. Billy, with peanut butter still on his cheek, had an idea, a big idea.
All right, still cut off that last word. There's a couple of ways we can do that. We can throw in a word that we would edit out later, but let's just try and see what happens if we use the 1.6 model for this. We're just going to click on generate.
It was just after dinner, and the sky outside the kitchen window was the color of grape jelly. Billy, with peanut butter still on his cheek, had an idea, a big idea.
So we'll use that one because it didn't cut off the word. And now let's listen to this read of, I think we should get a Bigfoot.
I think we should get a Bigfoot.
I kind of like that one. She's just stating it matter-of-factly, so we're going to leave that there. So let's listen to how the narrator said Billy said hopefully.
Billy said hopefully.
Perfect. Let's listen to what Mom has to say with a what, because I think we're going to want to do some work here.
A what now?
Right, so first of all, we don't want a what now. We changed that, but it didn't re-render it. So let's regenerate this, and let's actually put this in caps to give it some emphasis and see what we get.
A what?
There you go. A what? That's exactly what we wanted. And now let's listen to how the narrator says this next line.
His mother replied, not even looking up from her dish towel.
What we really want is something like, his mother replied. Let's go ahead and regenerate it and see if we can get a little bit closer to that.
His mother replied, not even looking up from her dish towel.
I like that one, especially with the his mother replied. And now let's listen to the kid with the Bigfoot.
A Bigfoot, you know, tall.
Whoop, that didn't get translated to the Bigfoot. Let's just go ahead and click on regenerate here with the kid chosen.
Bigfoot. You know, tall, hairy, mysterious, but cuddly if you get to know him.
So that's an interesting read, very subdued for the kids, not very excited. Let's generate again.
A Bigfoot. You know, tall, hairy, mysterious, but cuddly if you get to know him.
Okay, we're going to go with that one, and we'll listen to the narrator real quick.
Billy explained, standing on his chair for emphasis.
So that's kind of like the his mother replied. Why don't we just reword this and say, Billy, filled with passion, was standing on his chair for emphasis, and regenerate that.
Billy, filled with passion, was standing on his chair for emphasis.
Let's put a little bit longer pause between Billy and filled. I'm going to click there and click on long pause, regenerate.
Billy, filled with passion, was standing on his chair for emphasis.
Ah, yes, that makes a big difference. We're going to need to generate mom here.
Honey, Bigfoot is not something you pick up at the pet store between goldfish and hamster cages.
Some weird pauses in there. Let's generate again.
Honey, Bigfoot is not something you pick up at the pet store between goldfish and hamster cages.
Perfect. All right, I like that. And now let's see how the narrator responds.
His mother said, raising an eyebrow.
Fine. Let's generate for the kid here.
But he'd be useful. He could reach the top shelf, scare away burglars, and eat all the Brussels sprouts, so I don't have to.
So that cut it off again. Let's just pop back to the 1.6 control beta one more time and click on play.
But he'd be useful. He could reach the top shelf, scare away burglars, and eat all the Brussels sprouts, so I don't have to.
Okay, so we're going to stick with that one. We'll listen to the narrator here. I'm going to change the wording here again. Billy was counting off the reasons on his fingers. And now we'll just regenerate that.
Billy was counting off the reasons on his fingers. His mother crossed her arms and stared at him.
Just to point out, we're on the S1 beta here. It didn't cut off the end. Doesn't happen every time. So now we've got mom generated.
And where exactly would this Bigfoot sleep?
Perfect. Let's generate Billy's line here.
In the garage. Or he could have my room and I'll take the couch. I'm flexible.
All right, great. It says there was a long pause, so let's put a long pause there. We'll click right before the word there. We'll click on long pause, and then we'll put another one right after he says there was a long pause. We'll just click there again. Long pause, the kind that usually comes a firm no, and then we will actually have the long pause in question. Let's generate that.
There was a long pause, the kind that usually comes before a firm no.
And now let's listen to mom here.
You're not getting a Bigfoot, Billy.
We'll just cut out that first part where he's saying that she said that, because after all, we did hear her say it. Billy sighed and stared into his mashed potatoes. Let's get that read.
Billy sighed and stared into his mashed potatoes like they held the secrets of the universe.
Before we generate Billy, let's put in a long pause here. And in fact, since we have sigh, let's put a sigh here in front of the word fine and see if we hear it. And we'll put a little pause right after parade. We'll just say pause. Why don't we put some laughter right up in front of when mom says you're not getting a Bigfoot, Billy, and see if we get that.
You're not getting a Bigfoot, Billy.
That's the one we're using. We'll generate Billy here.
Fine. But when someone else adopts him and he wins the town parade, don't say I didn't try.
We're going to add a couple of long pauses here, somewhere in the forest, and then another long pause to add dramatics. A large furry creature sneezed. I'm going to put cough in here, even though it's not going to sneeze, but we'll just see what kind of break it gives us. And had the oddest feeling. Maybe we'll try and throw a laughter right before she says Bigfoot is not something you pick up at the store. So let's throw a laughter in here and regenerate this line.
Honey, Bigfoot is not something you pick up at the pet store between goldfish and hamster cages.
So the way that she sort of went, honey, Bigfoot is not, that's a real natural. It's not a guffaw. It's a real natural, like, I can't believe you're asking me this. So now I think we've rendered everything the way we want it to. We can click on Export Project. We'll click on Default Chapter. I didn't name it anything more clever than that. I don't need subtitles. I'll click on Export. I will click on Confirm, and I'll wait just a few luscious seconds. Click the Download button.
It was just after dinner, and the sky outside the kitchen window was the color of grape jelly. Billy, with peanut butter still on his cheek, had an idea, a big idea.
I think we should get a Bigfoot.
Billy said, hopefully.
A what?
His mother replied, not even looking up from her dish towel.
A Bigfoot. You know, tall, hairy, mysterious, but cuddly if you get to know him.
Billy, filled with passion, was standing on his chair for emphasis.
Honey, Bigfoot is not something you pick up at the pet store between goldfish and hamster cages.
His mother said, raising an eyebrow.
But he'd be useful. He could reach the top shelf, scare away burglars, and eat all the Brussels sprouts, so I don't have to.
Billy was counting off the reasons on his fingers. His mother crossed her arms and stared at him.
And where exactly would this Bigfoot sleep?
In the garage. Or he could have my room and I'll take the couch. I'm flexible.
There was a long pause, the kind that usually comes before a firm no.
You're not getting a Bigfoot, Billy.
Billy sighed and stared into his mashed potatoes like they held the secrets of the universe.
Fine. But when someone else adopts him and he wins the town parade, don't say I didn't try.
Somewhere in the forest, a large, furry creature sneezed and had the oddest feeling he was being discussed.
So I really hope I have adequately demonstrated the flexibility and the versatility of these models. We've really just scratched the surface. There are so many voice models in here that I haven't even tried to play with. But I was just so amazed when we could get audio that sounded so natural that we could use it in something like this.
Hey guys, so I just had to tell you what just happened. I'm waking out, right? And this guy comes up who I've never seen. I think he just joined or something. And he tells me he recognizes me from TikTok. And I'm like, What?
This is an extraordinary resource for people who are wanting to create dialogue in their AI films that sounds natural and not like AI. They have a free plan which gives you an hour of voice generation per month and 3 minutes per clip, but their premium plan is only $10 a month and it has unlimited generations. If these are the types of cutting edge resources you like to learn about and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, well, I highly recommend you doing that. It costs you literally nothing to do except like a little bit of energy to click the thing, and this is the type of stuff we talk about all the time.
If you subscribe now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you do not, I will look for you. I will find you. And I